I'm Inger from Tarot Wikipedia, and I want to take you guys on a bit of a tour today and show you a few places where it all started. For me, Tarot Wikipedia is 2 years old, or is it? Almost 3 years old. It started, yeah, it's 3 years old in January, so it's just gone really quickly. But before I started Tarot Wikipedia, I used to do tarot in the markets. I'm going to show you the market where I used to read, and a few other places, and also I used to read tarot in the cafes, and my business was actually called Tarot Cafe because I used to just, I didn't have I had a website that was just like book and cafe reading sort of thing. You choose a cafe and I travel to you, and that was when I lived in Perth in Western Australia, and then moving here to Queensland, and I lived here before, I thought I might as well just keep doing that. And so I did that for a while and did the markets, and then started up with Tarot Wikipedia, and then moved everything online, which is what I'm doing now. So anyway, I'm still very attached to this place. Redcliffe is just really, really special place. It's a very artsy place, very creative, and it has my stall, where I used to have my stall, is next to where they've now made a Bee Gees Hall of Fame. It's like a street where it's just Bee Gees, because Bee Gees had a bit of their childhood here in Redcliffe. And so they're just blasting out Bee Gees songs pretty much 24/7. And so it's really special. It's by the water, it's just such a special place. So hang on and I'll show you some more. So I don't know if it shows properly in this picture, but it's basically just stall after stall, and this is sort of the esplanade, and there's water here, and it's just really, really nice, and there's loads of cafes and shops and stuff on this side. So it's really, really nice. And this is BG Way. It wasn't up when I had my market stall there. I wish it would, because the way they made BG Way, it's basically next to where I used to have my stall. I would have been able to listen to Bee Gees and reading the tarot at the same time. So if you're a tarot reader, if you want to be a tarot reader, and there's markets that get involved, because it's a fantastic way to practice the tarot. I used to set up early in the morning, and as you can see, it's beautiful to set up my stall at 5 a.m. in the morning and sell cards, and I used to sell a bit of cards and jewelry and things like that as well. But not all our markets are by the water. This is a market I did in West End, which is much more rustic, this is really, really a special market. It's really artistic. It's very much about living holistically. It's all about loads of food stalls and super sort of organic, healthy. It's very much a market stall for people who like to live a bit alternative. Here I am waiting for coffee. So this is a coffee stall. As you can see, it's just really wonderful, isn't it? And as you can see, if you don't need a big setup. This is sometimes I just had a chair and a couple of a table and a couple of old chairs, So that's all you really need to get started. This is when I lived in Perth, and when you start doing tarot and people hear about you, you'll get invited to do different things. So this was like a psychic fair that someone they organized as I don't even remember where exactly this was. It was like at a community hall type thing. And it was loads of people who were interested in all sorts of things, very sort of spiritual, and also people very creative, making things and stuff. We were invited. Some of us got invited to go to this, and it was just fantastic, a way of connecting with people. And I was reading the tarot and also oracle cards as well here. And when it's like, I guess it's a snowball, isn't it? Once it starts rolling, it get bigger and bigger and bigger. So the most important thing is that you sort of put yourself out there, I guess. And I just wanted to show this as well. This is when I lived in Perth. My living situation was not the best. We lived in Perth for a couple of years, and in the beginning when we moved there because of work, and this was why I actually started Tarot Cafe. Tarot Cafe was a business before Tarot Wikipedia. And I lived in a tent because we couldn't break into the property market. Basically, it was just packed. There was just nothing available to us, and there was such competition to get property that became like a full-time job to try and get somewhere to live. And because we were so busy in our jobs, we just did not have the time to take time off and try and break into it. So we were stuck at the caravan park for ages, and for several months actually. And we had like ducks walking past, ducks walking past our tent in the morning, and they jumped in sometimes. And it was actually quite nice living there. It wasn't too bad, but it was just really hot. Perth could get up to 46 degrees. I think that was the hottest day. So you don't want to live in a tent when it's 46 degrees. Um, so basically, when you are starting to read a tarot, bring your cards with you wherever you go, because you never know when you need to read the cards. You know, this is me in the park doing a tarot reading. And again, once you start playing with the cards, you do maybe a reading for someone, or maybe you just want to read for yourself, have a look in the cards. People might look and say, oh, what are you doing, and get interested in what you're doing. So it depends a little bit what sort of personality you are as well, if you're introverted, extroverted. But doesn't really matter, because you know, tarot can be a very good tool actually for introverted people to connect with others, because you're actually talking about something specific that is like a topic that's much easier to actually hold a conversation. So I'm not particularly extremely extroverted person, but I used to do the tarot cafe thing where I used to read in all different cafes all over Perth, and it just became like a thing that I did, and it was easy for me to sort of connect with people that way, because we were talking about tarot and talking about personal things in their lives, and it's actually a really good way of having a really good conversation with someone and having a connection with somebody. It's really positive way, and some of people that I met became like lifelong friends as well. Okay, I just wanted to show a little bit of the contrast my life has taken over the past, I guess, 12 years. So I live in stinking hot Queensland at the moment. It's tropical, it's hot. Perth was even hotter than Brisbane. But before I lived in hot, super hot, stinking hot Australia, I lived in super cold, stinking cold Norway. I lived in the Arctic part of Norway, above the Arctic Circle, and it was just snow and snow and snow. So I went from this basically to this. This is Rottnest Island in Western Australia. It's not bad, is it? So I was basically used to this. So I went from that to this. This is one of the deserts in Western Australia, where you can actually drive your car around and look at all these things. Next to my house was a huge, big mountain. I used to go and take my skis and, you know, ski up and down the mountain. And more often than this, it ended this way. You know, that was the most likely outcome of my ski trip. So, but hey, I was outdoors having fun, and I went from this to this. This is one of the things you can do in Western Australia. You can actually swim with dolphins, wild dolphins, and you have a shark repellent sonar thing on your foot, and they give you like a little scooter thing to have in the water. So, and then you actually are swimming, and you're swimming with the dolphins on the water. So that's almost as good as falling over in the snow, isn't it? Or maybe it's even better. This is one of my favorite places of reading the tarot. And you know, wherever you are, like I lived in the Arctic, and I used to do tarot then. I used to do tarot, you know, in the cafes and online, and I didn't have like a business. I didn't call it Tarot Cafe or anything like that. But it was just something that I like to do. Now I live in Australia, and it hasn't changed. You know, I still have a deck of cards with me wherever I go, and now that I do a lot of readings and tutorials and webinars and things like that, I like to record some of it outside, just because I do like the outdoors, and I do like having, like, you know, when you're a tarot reader, you can turn the outdoors into your office. This can be your office. You know, you take a favorite place where you live and turn that into your office. So it's amazing. You can arrange meeting clients somewhere in, you know, if you have a favorite cafe, for example, or if you have a favorite place in the park, you know, that's where you can actually meet up and do readings. You can turn it into an event, you know what I mean? So it can be a really positive thing. Most people that I know that do this sort of thing with the tarot, they are doing tarot parties, and you don't have to do it, but you can do tarot parties, and you can do you know, you can do tarot dinners, tarot lunches. You can turn it into like an event, a special thing. And that's up to you. You don't have to do it, but you can be very creative with it. You can be so creative with what you're doing. And reading, reading online, reading on Skype and things like that. If that's what you want to do, you can take that with you as well, and you can travel and work at the same time. So it's a perfect, tarot really is a perfect occupation. I really do believe it is. So I hope I inspired you a little bit now with this video. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my journey, but also to inspire you guys so that you know that once tarot is your profession, you have so many opportunities what to do with it. You have no idea. It can benefit you in your own life. It can, you can look at situations and have all this transformation. I talk a lot about that in the Arrow Scores, how you're actually working with all these different energies, the creator of all that is, law of synchronicity, the ancestors, your spiritual team, guides and angels. You're working with your intuition all the time to enhance yourself, your abilities. And if there is anything standing in your way, stopping you, blocking you, it's probably a program, a belief that's creating some kind of issue. You can look in the cards and find out what that is as well, and find out why you are feeling a certain way, and actually have these major transformations in your life. And law of synchronicity will always bring you in opportunities to live in sort of in a better way. I really do believe that. So tarot is also a great tool to manifest, and I'm going to talk more about the way you can manifest. I teach it in the Arrows course, but I'm going to make some more tutorials as well about that in 2017. Just how to manifest with the cards and how you can really get into the manifesting spirit, because the law of synchronicity, it works with the law of attraction, and once you have all that going for you, then there's really nothing that I believe that you can't achieve. Like, I really believe that you can set yourself goals and you can achieve them very quickly, using these energies and knowing how they work and following the laws. But the laws are very positive in the sense that there aren't really that many restrictions. The only really barrier I find in manifesting is people really want something for the right reasons, and if that's part of if you're aligned, and if that's aligned with your purpose, and then the way you know that is if it's really something you want in your heart. So once you really want something in your heart, it's probably something that's also part of your purpose. And then the only thing that then really can stand in someone's way is if they feel unworthy of it, or if they're afraid of what will happen once they have it. So they might think that something bad will happen or something. So once you can actually start overcoming those sort of blocks and barriers, and there's nothing really that can stand in your way from achieving your goals in life. So that is something to think about, and in 2017 there would be some manifesting tutorials. So if I can just leave with you guys now, if you can send me a message about more maybe specific things you want me to make tutorials about manifesting, about the tarot, and how to, just specific things that you would like me to answer, then I'll make a tutorial about that. All right? Okay. Bye for now.